Hello everyone, this is part 2 of my top bookshelf tour, the books that have been stored, packed, reserved to the back, and there are some very special books up here to me, and I have to say one is missing. The one that is missing normally goes right here where the War of the Oaks has managed to find itself, next to my Jackie Chan autobiography, which is one of 2 autobiographies I've read, because I love me some Jackie Chan. I found his biography, or partial biography I suppose it was, fairly light-hearted, but I found it fascinating and a good read. And the other biography, which normally sits right by its side, is the Kiss Me Like a Stranger by Gene Wilder, who's an actor who I love to my core. And it normally sits side by side with the 2 autobiographies, but instead somehow, and I genuinely don't know how, I've got The War for the Oaks, which was recommended off a fantasy list I saw online. It's by Emma Bull, and it's an interesting book. It's an urban fantasy, which is why I decided to go for it rather than just fantasy regular, but The War for the Oaks screams first novel to me when I read that. I've never picked up the this is definitely a first novel vibe from a book before, but War for the Oaks definitely gave me that vibe. Next to it is a book that I love and I hate, but I think love probably wins out. Terra Ignota Book 1, Too Like the Lightning by Ada Palmer. It is futuristic sci-fi, it's mostly utopian, and the world building, the world of Too Like the Lightning is exceptional on every level. I've never read anything like it. In fact, I've never read anything that has given me so much hope for the future in the way that we can be governed and we can self-govern, and the way that we can go. There's things in there that just kind of blew my mind, and I was like, why isn't the world like this? There's also things in there that I was like, why is this in this book? Because there was so much in there, there was so much to love and cherish, and it's brilliantly written, but there's occasional things in Too Like the Lightning that I was like, just why? Especially the details revealed at the end. I believe it's part of a trilogy, and I have not yet picked up book 2, because I was so angry when I got to the end and I got that kind of kick in the gut, that I didn't want to carry on. But over time, I feel like carrying on with the Terra Ignota trilogy is inevitable for me. Next to it is a genuinely brilliant comedy take on sci-fi, Space Captain Smith by Toby Frost. It takes a load of tropes and cliches about space travel and space writing, and it just plays with them over and over and over again. It was very, very funny. Again, I believe there's a series. I think the next one in the line is called The God Emperor of Didcot. I am yet to come across it, but it is on the list. And then we're into special books. Michael Crichton's Jurassic Park and the Lost World. Exceptional on every level. The films are exceptional. The first one's exceptional. The second one made me raise an eyebrow every now and again, but what can you do? I've got a Warhammer fantasy book here, Guardians of the Forest, and I love that book. It's little, it's kind of out of the way, it doesn't mean anything to the greater world of Warhammer, but I thought it was an absolutely great little read, and I am very glad I've got a copy, because I don't believe you can get it anymore. Now, related to part 1, you may remember the 3 books I found when I first got into reading from Harry Potter books. I first got into reading and I grabbed these 3 books that all have the same kind of cover art. One of the books did not have the same kind of cover art, and that was Shadow Warrior by Chris Bunch. And again, I need to reread it. Some of the details are still with me, like all those stories that I read they're just so unique, and Shadow Warrior definitely stayed with me. But the only caveat with Shadow Warrior is I do not remember how it ends. And the way my brain works is if I didn't like something, I will forget. I will scrub it from my memory. So I'm a bit worried about the ending for Shadow Warrior. But at some point I will come around to reread it. And hopefully I'll have a kinder view of the ending when we get there. Next to it is Classic, 1984 by George Orwell. Just legendary writing, legendary story. Highly recommend to anyone. Obviously more dystopian future, but there's parallels with life in there, just written all over the place. So I'm always willing to chat about that book if anyone wants to. Obviously we've got the Harry Potter books here, with the notable exception that book 1 is missing, because book 1 has gone to my 7-year-old niece, who is supposed to be reading it, but she keeps getting sad and then stopping because it's sad. I'm trying to prompt her to finish and, know the rest of it, but at the moment she's not having any of it. So I don't know how that's going, but at some point I hope she'll kind of get into it, and then she can have the rest of the books, I suppose. And then towards the end here I've got the Twilight collection, which was brought to my attention by the film, because Kristen Stewart is very much my kind of beautiful, and I read those books with her in mind, and it was pretty damn good. I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed it. Breaking Dawn, however, at the end there, is more kind of superhero than traditional vampire-y stuff, so that was surprising. But I enjoyed them, and then obviously I found them all in the same size, same kind of printing. They've all got the red tops, the red page edges, which I quite liked. And rounding it off with Oscar Wilde's Portrait of Dorian Gray, which is a sensational classic, loved it to bits, and A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens, which you can read and you can say Dickens is a great writer back and forth, and there's so much in there that you're just reading, you're just kind of reading because you're compelled to read because he writes so interestingly. But the ending of A Tale of Two Cities blew my mind. It was exceptional. It will always be exceptional. Just loved it to bits. But yeah, that is the back of my top bookshelf, and that rounds us out for all the books I have on my bookshelf, apart from the books that were on my bookshelf but are now in boxes from when we moved house, and I literally don't have any room, so I think I'm going to have to upgrade my bookshelf. So when that happens, we'll probably be here all over again. So thanks for watching, and farewell.